Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a new 2023 Ford Superduty and we're installing a 40-inch curved Pro Series light bar. First thing we're going to do is remove the 10 push pins that are holding this inner plastic trim piece. So there's 5 on the bottom and 5 on top. Now let's go ahead and remove the 5 that are on top. I'm just going to get my pry tool here. So you got to take the head out, and then there's a plate. So back to a total of 5. Now that the 10 clips are removed, I'm going to go ahead and take out the trim. For the 40-inch light bar, you do have to remove the grill because the mounts that attach to the 40-inch are not easily accessible here. So let's go ahead and take out some more clips on top. In order to remove the grill, we do have to remove this top cover. It's all held by push pins. So just get the top of the push pin up and it removes. Now that all the push pins are off, we can lift up this trim piece. Now let's remove 4 10mm bolts on top. And we're also going to remove these 2 large push pins. So there's one plastic piece on each side that you have to remove to get to the mounting bolt. So it's identical on both edges. You remove the door and you take out a bolt. So now we're getting ready to separate the grill. Kind of prop it open. Because this model has a camera and a washer fluid, we do have to disconnect them here. So if you look in here, the washer fluid, there's a little plastic ring that you have to remove. I'll show you how it looks like from the clip. So there's a little plastic piece that you have to remove in order to disconnect the washer fluid. And then there's also a plug for the camera that you have to remove. So the 2 connections that are removed is the water as well as the camera. So now we can remove the whole grill. So these are the 4 brackets that you get with the kit. You get the 2 main mounting brackets, and then you get the 2 brackets that connect the light bar to this set. Start with the driver's side. We're going to peel back the plastic trim, slide the bracket in, and then so we're going to match the welded nut on that bracket with this bolt hole that we're going to use with the supplied hardware. So I'm going to go ahead and use the bolt. I'm going to thread it in here and it's going to catch the welded nut that's on the bracket. This opening is factory and we're capable of threading a bolt through it, and because we have a welded nut on the back of the bracket, it's going to be a lot easier to thread into. So we're done on the passenger side. Take a look. See, so that's the bolt that we used. And it's holding. We're not going to tighten it all the way because I like to tighten it after we thread the light bar through these mounts. So now I'm going to grab the bracket, peel back the plastic trim piece, go underneath the wiring harness just to feed the bracket through. I'm going to align it with the bolt hole opening, and I'm going to use the attached hardware, thread the bracket. This is the bolt that we used, that we've installed, and it's going through the metal bracket into the back of the welded nut. Alright, so now I'm getting ready to install the side brackets onto the light bar. Okay, so I'm going to grab the light bar, I'm going to put the side bracket on, and I'm going to thread the supplied hardware. We're not worried about the alignment of the light bar yet. The slots are tapered, so you are going to be able to aim them higher and lower. So I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. When installing the side bracket, make sure that the welded bolt is under the light bar. So we're going to go ahead and thread this. Okay, great. So now what I want to do, I want to mock up how this stays on the brackets before I tighten down the main mounts. And we can only do this with the grill off. So I want to make sure that I centered it properly now and tighten it down, because we're going to remove this light bar, install the grill, and reinstall this after. So I'm just going to mock it up, center it, tighten everything, and remove it. The way I like to center it is based on this middle light and this column. So this looks centered. Now I can tighten the bolts that are holding them out. Okay, and now since nothing shifted, we can remove the side bolts and remove the light bar. So what we want to do is remove the light bar in order to install the grille back on, and we're not going to be able to do that if the light bar is on or if the side brackets are installed. So now we're getting ready to assemble the truck back to normal. So now that we've reinstalled the grille, let's go ahead and permanently install the light bar, and we're going to use the supplied nuts in order to tighten it down. Oh, it looks amazing. One thing that's left to do is just do the wiring. I'm going to go ahead and pass the wiring behind the grille. I'm going to pass it behind the grille, and we are going to route it along the edge of the grille and towards the headlight. And here, if you go diagonally, you should be able to get this wire coming out right next to the headlamp. So one thing I like to do, so that way the wire doesn't flap around, I like to zip tie it towards the bottom of the grille. The last part of the install is to do the wiring. The Pro Series light bar comes with 3 wires. You have the red wire, which is the positive for the white light. You have the white wire, which is the positive for the amber DRL. And then you have a black wire, which is a ground. If your truck is equipped with auxiliary switches, you will just need 2 different power sources to control 2 functions. If your truck does not come with auxiliary switches, you'll have to use a light bar harness, or you can purchase the M&R wireless controller, which is capable of wiring up to 8 different devices and controlling it from inside the cab without running any wiring. Since this vehicle did not come with auxiliary switches, I'm going to show you how to use it. Instruction manual. We have various stickers. Billet aluminum controller module. You get the actual wireless module. Fuses, the main power cable, some zip ties to mount the module, and you get that magnetic pad. What you're going to do inside the cab, you're going to find a spot to stick this 3M piece, and that way the magnet can stick to it. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this box apart so that way we can see how the fuses will look like and connect the positive, the negative, and our accessories. So now we're going to remove the cover. So we have the positive battery terminal. We have a ground here. What we're going to do, first thing I like to do is the positive and the ground. So where it says battery plus, that's the positive. And then there's also a small ground that we're connecting to this module, and that's just in order to make it function. Your accessories will have their own grounds, and you're going to ground it on either the negative terminal on the vehicle or on the chassis of the vehicle. So now you have the terminals, and then once we get this connected to the truck, we'll go ahead and connect the light bar wires to it. So that's the positive and the ground. One more thing, on the positive terminal, there is a master fuse, and I am going to install it. Okay, so open the box. So this is the fuse holder. I'm going to loosen the terminals, and we're going to slide these connections as well as a master fuse. So this fuse is going to protect the system if there's some kind of a short, and it's more of a safety feature. So we're going to connect the 2 wires in between the washer. So we're installing it like this, and we're going to tighten it using the supplied hardware. So it's just an inline safety precaution. So that way if the positive wire ever touches the ground, it's not going to spark or create any type of a dangerous situation. It'll just pop the fuse and the whole system turns on. Alright, so now that we have the fuse terminal connected, I'll go ahead and put the cover back on. Good, and we're ready to connect this to the truck. Alright, so now that we have the module here, I want to connect the positive and the negative to the battery. Use this bolt to slide our positive terminal off the harness. Okay, and then we're going to use the ground to the negative of the battery. You can see there's a green button that lights up. That means it has proper power. Now we have to connect the light bar to the corresponding circuit. So you have, you know, 30, 30, 30. You have two 20s and you have three 10s. So what I'm gonna do for the light bar that we're gonna connect, I'm gonna connect the red wire and the white wire to the harness, but the black wire, which is the ground, we're gonna connect that to the negative battery of the terminal. So what I wanna do, I wanna actually take it out of the harness, so that way we can extend the wire a little bit. So on the black wire, that's gonna be the ground. I'm gonna install an eyelid, and we're actually going to ground it to the battery as well. I probably should have done it when I was grounding the actual unit. You can use the same bolt. Now the two wires, I'm going to choose what circuits I want them to be connected to. Yeah, I'm going to put the white light on switch number 1, and it's going to have a 30 amp fuse for how I like it on the remote. You just can't go under what the fuse rating is, you can go over. And then the amber DRL, so I'm going to go on number 5. And now we can test it out. So now that we've done all the wiring, let's go ahead and test them. With switch number 5, we're going to control the amber DRL, and with switch number 1, it's going to be the powerful white light. Thank you guys for watching, and I know you're going to love the product.